Hello. Good morning. Pouring myself some bucha. Hello to those of you who are watching the recording, because nobody's ever this quick. Hello. Ooh, gotta change my audio settings. There we go. Now it's on the mic. There. Hello. How's it going? Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone? Did you guys miss me? Hi, Steffa. Hi, Erin. I lost my voice, you guys. So I'm gonna have to be. I'm toning it down a little today so I can catch my voice. Hi, Connie. Hi, Katya. Hi, Megan. Hi, Lori. Whoa! Look at all of you popping up. David. Hello. Hello. Michelle. Karen. Adriana. Love you guys. I've missed all of you so much. How's it going? I wish I could see all your faces and send you all my big love and hugs. Oh, I've missed you guys. How is everything? How have you guys been? Did you guys have a good week? Oh, I've missed you, Michelle. Love you. How's your organite coming? I saw your swords you were making. They look really badass, by the way. They look amazing. Some cord cutting swords. Love it. Genius idea. Hi, Jody. Hi, Donna. So what have you guys been up to? I have a lot to tell you guys. Anna's here. Hi, sweetheart. I've missed you, Anna. Anna came and crashed the event, you guys, and we were so glad she did. we spent the whole weekend almost with Anna, and it was wonderful. I'm so glad you came to see us. Anna flew over all the way from Finland just to hang out with us for the weekend. It was amazing. So lots of fun. Had a really good trip. Thank you. Thank you. This is my new mug. Thank you to Andy for my new mug. I love it. Of course, Chen's the man. You guys may notice I don't have my voice right now. Maybe a little bit. I've got like half of my voice, but it was quite an event. We were way busier than we thought we would be, but it was a lot of fun. It was it was definitely interesting. Good morning, Carrie. Nice to meet you. Hi, Chandrika. I've missed you too, darling. So have you guys had anything exciting going on before I go into all the craziness of the last week and tell you guys all the story? I'll wait a minute for people to join, but it was wild, you guys. I got so much to tell you. It's unbelievable. We had our cut out for us at the Olympia in London. That is for sure. I was concerned that my accent wouldn't be back today, but it seems like I'm American again. That's nice. As soon as I went to London, I just absorbed the British accent again. It was so annoying. People were looking at me like, I don't know why I absorb accents, but apparently I do. Michelle says, I love that you're bubble saging people. Well, I gotta, it. So I gotta tell you, this is a really funny, right? Because the event was kind of a last minute thing. And I have to applaud Katie, by the way. Katie set up an incredible event at the Olympia. It was at the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival. And our dear beloved Katie worked her butt off to make sure everything was ready in time. And we had an amazing, amazing event. And it was really funny, though, because a couple weeks prior, we were talking about what we were going to do at the event. And I said to the guys in the group, I was like, why don't we just dress up like Ghostbusters? And everybody looked at me. I should say, we were on the Wednesday chat, and they were like, what? Like, they didn't really listen to the idea when I presented it. But it was kind of funny because, so we get to the event, and we're setting up and everything. I'll start from the beginning because it was a lot, you guys. There was a lot going on. So we get to the event, and we're setting up. And it was a lot of fun. We were setting up. We had a nice time getting everything all looking pretty and stuff. And this was the night before it started, right? And as I'm looking at all the other exhibitor stalls, I'm like, I see somebody doing spiritual cleansings down the way. And I was like, oh, look, Andy, we got some competition here. Like, nice. more people doing cleansings. So the next day, which was the very first day of the event, we get there, and I see the people that are doing the spiritual cleansings. They're all dressed in white and stuff, and they're handing out pamphlets about Jesus and God. And I was like, oh, okay, they're not competition. Good to know. So, so anyway, the event didn't, the very first day was really, really quiet. Like there was only maybe about 10 people that came up the first day, because we were just kind of standing around, like, just like, hey, how's it going, blah blah blah, talking to people as they came by, and they looked at our signs and they'd give us a kind of an eye squint and then keep walking, because our signage was kind of vague. And it was apparently purposefully kept vague so people want to come up and ask us questions. But when you have 200 other vendors around, people don't care to ask questions. They're just kind of like, what's this? Oh, I don't know. And they keep walking. So we were kind of getting ignored the first day. And I said to Andy, I said, you guys totally messed up. You should have taken me up on my Ghostbusters idea. And Andy looks at me and he goes, wait, you were serious about that? And I was like, yeah, like that would have been a great idea. Like we totally should. And Andy says, I tell you what, if you can find a Ghostbusters costume, I'll pay you back for it. And I was like, done. Like, let's get this done. So funnily enough, there was a costume shop across the street. And we go over to this costume shop, and it was run by these two Turkish sisters, Denise and her sister. They're just amazing, by the way. Denise spent like an hour with us, taking apart her whole store with stacks of costumes everywhere. And in the very far back corner, she found 2 costumes. And it made me laugh. One of them was like the skimpy Ghostbuster. And the other was like this 3XL men's costume. And I was like, well, I'm not wearing the skimpy Ghostbuster costume. I can tell you that right now. So I put on the 3XL costume. And I'm walking through town, and people start laughing. Like they see me walking with this Ghostbusters costume, and they're like, what is this girl doing? Like, what the hell? So people come up to me and they're like, oh, I love your costume, blah, blah, blah. And just on the way back to the event, I had like 10 people stop me. And then when I get into the event, I had like 15 people come running up to me. They're like, oh, Ghostbusters. We love Ghostbusters. And to be honest, it was not the best costume. It was kind of a cheap costume. And it was way too big. But it was really funny because people loved it. Like British people love costumes. I don't know. They just do. So we were basically way, way popular the last hour of the event. There was like 20 people that came up to talk to us. So we had so many people coming up just to ask us, why are you dressed like Ghostbusters? And I'm like, well, we are Ghostbusters. We essentially go in and remove spirits from places where they don't belong. Should they people and spaces? And people were like, really? Like, that's so cool. I got some haunted places that you can de-haunt and stuff like that. And it was amazing. So anyway, we basically had like this huge what do you call it? Brainstorming idea the last hour of the day. And I told Andy, I said, if you can find some gun blasters, like some bubble guns, that would be great. And Andy's like, bubble guns? I'm like, yeah, bubble guns. So so Andy spent 3 hours at like 7 o'clock at night, from like 6 to 9, going around all around London looking for bubble guns, by the way, which is like some serious dedication, Andy. Thank you. So he shows up the next morning with a whole bunch of these bubble guns and big tanks of bubble juice. And we were laughing so hard. We're like, this is going to be great. And I said to Andy, I was like, now we just need some white sage. And he goes, sage? I said, yeah, go find some sage essential oil. So he did. He started running around. He found some sage essential oil. We put it in the bubbles. And we got Ollie. Good morning, Ollie. I see you in the comments. Hi, bud. So Ollie hooked it up for us too with the TV. So we were playing the Ghostbusters theme song, which was really, really funny. So anyway, you can imagine, how much fun we were having dressed up as Ghostbusters with a whole bunch of people walking by, and we were blasting them with sage bubbles. It was really funny. Like the people gave us dirty looks. I'm like, get them again. They need it. But the kids, they loved it. Like the parents that were coming by, like they're a bit like, but the kids kept the parents at our stand for like 15 minutes. they'd be running under the bubbles. Andy had like this big bubble blaster that did like this waterfall of bubbles over people, and it was so funny. Just the amount of laughter we had at our stand. People kept coming up to us and saying, "You realize you have the most fun stand at the whole place?" And I was like, "Of course we do. Like, we're fun people." And you could tell that Andy was such a big kid, you guys. He was blasting bubbles at people more than anybody else. Even like old people would come by and they'd have like a dirty look on their face, and Andy'd be like blasting them with the sage bubbles. It was hilarious. Chen was clearing people left and right. Like whenever people came by our stand, they would get a clearing, and it was really great. It was a lot of fun. We and it was great because, like I said, the Ghostbusters gear worked. And I told Andy, I was like, we need better costumes next year. Seriously. Like the Ghostbusters costume, I put it on over my clothes, so it made me look like I gained like 50 pounds, but I didn't even care. I was having so much fun just running around blasting people. I didn't even care what I looked like. I was like, woo! It was great. So yeah, we're going to upgrade the costumes, you know, ones that don't fit over the clothes, that are actually, you know, real legit costumes. I told Andy, I was like, we need the real deal now. Like, this is serious. Oh, but it was great. We raised the vibe of the whole space. And remember those people I said that were competition. Now this is where things get interesting, right? The last day. Well, actually, no, hold on. Let me hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So there was a bit of pushback that I must say. And as you guys can imagine, it was not from people. We did have some entities. I don't know what they were or who they were, but they did not appreciate our high vibes and what we were trying to do at the event. I believe it was the second day, the second night anyway. I had a horrible night's sleep. Like I kept waking up in the middle of the night. Stacy's here. Hi, Stacy. Stacy can contest to this because she was my roomie. Apparently Stacy said that I was having like an argument in my sleep, and I woke up like wrapped in my sheets like a mummy. I was all wrapped up and I lost my voice. Like I couldn't hardly speak. And I was like, what is going on? Like, where is my voice? And so then about an hour into the second day, I bit my tongue so hard. The hardest I have ever bit my tongue in my entire life. I'm not even kidding. I was talking with a woman from the NHS. She was actually works in mental health. And I was mid-conversation with her, and I'm just chomp like down on my tongue. And I was like, oh my God. Okay, I let Andy finish the conversation. I could literally taste blood in my mouth. It was horrible, right? 5 minutes later, I do it again. And then I do it again. And then I did the fourth time I bit my tongue really hard. I looked at Andy and I'm like, what is going on? I was like, he's like, what's the matter? I said, I can barely speak right now. My tongue hurts so bad. I keep biting it. And as soon as I said that, Andy closed his eyes and he goes, Chen's telling me that you have a skull bridle on. They're removing it. I was like, what? They put a scald bridle on me in my sleep. So for those of you who don't know what a scald bridle is, I will show you really quickly. I had one of these on when I had the past life as a witch. So for those of you who don't know what a scald bridle is, it is a cage for your head with a tongue depressor that has a spike on it. So I'll give you an example. This is what they put on me in the astral. So it's got a spiked tongue depressor. So when you try to speak, you end up hurting your tongue. Where does you see it? That is what they put on me in the astral. So I couldn't speak. That is why my voice disappeared. And that is why I kept biting my tongue. So funnily enough, Andy removed it. I should say Chen removed it. Thanks, Chen. Appreciate you, Chen. And yeah, it still fucking hurt though, really bad. And literally my tongue did not stop hurting until this morning. I actually asked my soul guides last night. I was like, this is ridiculous. You better make my tongue. I can't speak. Like, like, can you help me heal this thing or what? So this morning is the first day I can actually speak without pain since that morning. So thanks for that, entities, whoever put that on there. So that it really made me mad though, I must say. So I'm like, well, if they think I'm gonna shut up, I'm gonna double up now. Like this is the opposite. Try and shut me up, like. Brr. So anyway, another exciting thing was I walked over, right, and I see this. I'm hanging out. I went over just to scout around. I was handing out a star of cards and stuff to people, and just getting to know people around the event. And I see this guy. His name is Ferris, and Ferris, he's from Syria. He was a shamanic practitioner, and it was his drums that originally caught my attention. Like he was just pounding on the drums. And as I come around the corner, I see this older gentleman was working on somebody, like they were bent over, and he was working on their chakras. And so he was drumming up and down the chakras. And I'm standing in front of them, maybe about 5 feet away, watching him do this work. And Ferris looks up and he looks at me and he gives me this big smile. And we made eye contact. And when he did that, I had goosebumps that went down my whole body, like head to toe, like, woo, kind of goosebumps. I was like, whoa, what was that? So I just kept standing there watching Ferris work. And all of a sudden, I hear in my head, move, Laura. And when they speak to me in my head, like when I hear speaking to me like in the third person, when they say my name, I know that's not me. So when they said move, Laura, I was like, oh shit. And I jumped as quick as I could around the corner. And as soon as I did that, the guy that he was working on collapsed to the ground. Like poof, to the ground. I was like, what just happened? And my intuition said he just removed an entity. And I was like, oh shit. Like, oh wow. Okay. Good to know. So he's doing clearings. Interesting. So I was really curious about who this guy was, and I wanted to make sure he was legit. So I walked off for a little bit because I was just, just trying to get to know people and walk around the space. And I met some really amazing people. But watching Ferris work, I was like, I want to know, like, did he really remove an entity from somebody? So I'm hanging out with Andy at the last day. And I said to Andy, I said, let's go for a walk. Let's see what you can see on some of these practitioners. So the first table, and this is a big one, guys. The first table we went by, remember at the beginning of the story, I told you guys we thought we had some competition, and then it turns out that there are a bunch of Jesus and God pamphlet hand routers. So we're like, oh, okay. But as I was walking by them, and I forgot to mention this, the third day, they were channeling. Like I saw those practitioners, they were all dressed in white, and they were holding on to people's hands, facing them really closely. And they were like doing like this, like they were making really like strained faces, and something about it. Like I was walking past them and I got the creeps, like you would not believe. Like not good, not good creeps, like not good feeling whatsoever walking past those people. So of course on the last day, I'm like, come on, Andy, I want to see what you can see. So we're walking past those people. Guess what they had with them? I said, are they actually channeling good guys or bad guys? And Andy's like, no, they're channeling entities. And I'm like, really? And he's like, wow, they're interesting. And I'm like, what do you mean? And Andy says he's walking by and he's like, there are 3 entities. They're ETs. There are 3 ETs standing next to the men that are channeling right now. They're holding people's hands and they have no mouths. I'm like, what? He said they had bloodshot eyes and no mouths, like the skin was like stretched over their mouths. What movie was that in? Do you guys remember that? Didn't we see a movie where like their eyes were bloodshot? They were human looking, but their eyes were really bloodshot and they had no mouths. Like somebody had just erased their lips and their holes in their face. So I'm wondering, do you guys know what kind of ETs that could be? Because I've been trying to find out ever since. Really creepy though. I know I've seen that in a movie somewhere. And I'm not just talking about the Matrix when they erased that what's his guy's face, but there was something, I can't remember what movie it was. Obviously they're telepathic, if they don't have a fucking mouth. So anyway, I was like, so they're not good. And he's like, no, they're not good. And I was like, okay. So he's like, yeah, everybody that's walking away from there is leaving with an attachment. And I'm like, oh man, like I can only imagine what kind of beings they were and what their motives were. So anyway, we're walking around and I'm like, I want to take him to Ferris. I want to see what he thinks of Ferris. So we're going around the corner. And for those of you who just joined, Ferris is a Syrian shamanic practitioner, really amazing drumming that he was doing. So as we come around the corner, I said, so what do you see when we look at Ferris? And he goes, he has two Pleiadians standing next to him. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, they're standing on both sides. He's like, they're the ones that are doing the clearing. The drumming and all of that is to make people believe they're getting the clearing. Because it's funny, actually, when people came by the stand to get a clearing, Andy's like, done. And they're like, what? What do you mean? And he's like, it's done. And they're like, wait, I'm cleared? People didn't believe they were cleared because Andy wasn't doing the like, I think Andy needs to walk up to people and be like, done. Or something. Because Andy people were like, what do you mean? That's it? So I asked Andy, I was like, so the drumming, he goes, oh, that's part of the show. But it makes people believe, that he's actually doing the clearing when he is. But it's actually the Pleiadians that he's standing next to that are doing it. And I was like, oh, okay, Pleiadians. Interesting. That must be why I got goosebumps all over when I spoke to him or when I just made eye contact with him. So anyway, we go to the corner and sure enough, they were doing clearings. Like everybody after he cleared them would be sovereign. And I'm like, that's amazing. Like we got to talk to this guy. So I walked up to Ferris later on and I just for a moment, I was like, hi. And I introduced myself and he's like, it's good to see you again. And I was like, again, we just met. And he goes, in this life, we just met. He goes, I know you from many lives. And I was like, what? And he's like, yes. He goes, I knew you in Egypt, I knew you in Greece, and I knew you in Atlantis. And I said, how do you know? And he goes, my guides are telling me. And I was like, oh. And he's like, don't worry, you weren't my wife. So he said, he's like, don't worry, we weren't married. So simmer down, don't get too excited. Ferris is really funny. So I was like, okay, good to know. So apparently I was his student in a past life. And look, I got goosebumps all over just talking about it right now. So I was like, all right, well, I want to talk to this guy some more. And I gave him my card. So I was hoping to have another word with him before everybody left, but it was kind of crazy the last hour. And I asked Andy, I was like, are we going to clear the Olympia? And he goes, well, actually, Chen is about to do a mass clearing on the Olympia right now. Chen's team, I should say. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, we couldn't do it while there were thousands of people walking around because that would have been way too much for the team. He goes, but the last hour, when all the practitioners are packing up and and people are leaving, he goes, we're going to do a clearing on the whole place. And we're like, okay, cool. So get this, you guys, right? I'm going to read the stats to you. So obviously, when there's thousands of people walking around and stuff, it wasn't exactly easy to clear thousands of people at once. So here we go. He did it at the end of the day, as prior to that, it would have been way too much. But in the last hour, Chen's team cleared 61 level 3s. So that's 61 ETs from the event. He cleared 14 level 2s. So there's not that many demons, apparently. You'd think there'd be more demons. But no, there were only 14 demons he found at the event. There were 193 of those naughty elemental types, those little gargoyle bastards that like to attach to people. There were 647 earthbounds. 647 people that didn't cross over. Can you imagine how many people have been at the Olympia and for how long? Like this thing was built in the Victorian era. So as you can imagine, I bet some of those earthbounds had been stuck there for quite a while. They closed 9 large portals in the place. And get this, right? This isn't even the best part. They cleared 47 imposter soul guides from the practitioners at the event. 49. I was reading that wrong. 49 false soul guides that were masquerading as real soul guides. And then all of those practitioners were linked back to their original soul guides. So can you imagine how many people we helped at that event? It's like, when I saw that, I literally just got tears in my eyes, and I was so proud of all of us and the team. Could you imagine, too, what it looked like in the astral in the last hour as they were clearing out that place? So, yes, Catherine, he did clear the mouthless aliens from the Jesus people. Yes, he did. He got them. But can you imagine? 61 ETs just chilling in the area. Like, what are they even doing there? And they're not good ones, by the way. They don't remove the good ones. They only remove the negative ones that are trying to manipulate people. So can you imagine the imposters though? I mean, nearly 50 imposter soul guides removed. Like that right there is amazing. Like just the ripple effect from clearing the Olympia, I'm telling you, it's gonna change a corner of London, like without a doubt. And all of those practitioners going home to their places it just it got me so emotional yesterday. I was so proud. I'm like, thank you, Chen. We love you, Chen. So yes, big clap for Chen and the team. I wish I could actually have seen in the astral what it looked like as they were removing all these entities from the Olympia. And can you imagine 600 and something earthbounds? Like that's crazy. Think of how much the vibration of that space has gone up. Like the Olympia is no longer haunted. I just love it. So yeah, it was amazing. Like to the point of where I'm just so happy. Nothing really has topped this in my event so far as to feeling how amazing it was. And Donna says, how long does it stay majorly cleared? Well, that's the problem, is that things don't ever really stay cleared, because a lot of people think that ghosts, you stay where you die and all that stuff. No, it doesn't work. Ghosts wander around all over the place. They're attracted to certain areas because people go into certain areas. Stacy says the Hilton, however, is a different story. No, seriously, the Hilton was so haunted, you guys. I think we need to clear the hotel next time. Seriously, before we even go to the hotel, we need to clear it. Stacy and I, we felt the bad juju in our hotel room the minute we walked in, and the lights were flickering and stuff, and then that night where I had all of those, I woke up wrapped up like a mummy in my own sheets, fighting with myself, like. Yeah, the Hilton definitely needs a clearing, Andy. Get on it. But does the earthbound stay cleared because they found the light? Well, what happens is that a lot of people don't know to cross over. They think once they're dead, they're just kind of stuck. That's not true. It's just that if they don't cross over into the light, then they do kind of stay their old selves. They don't merge with source. They don't get to reconnect with their families. There's a lot that doesn't happen for people when they don't cross over. So the important thing is to get the spirits to cross over. And yeah, they can come back, for the record. They can come back from spirit side, but it's different when they're an earthbound, because as an earthbound, you sap energy from people. Unfortunately, people don't realize this, but you kind of absorb energy from the living, and you can influence the living on a higher level, because, I shouldn't even say on a higher level, just on a different level. So, yes, Michelle, I have heard that before, that people go to do self-harm at hotels as they don't want to do it at home. Yep. So hotels, definitely, I think that's the one thing we're going to do is send in Chen to clear the hotel before we even get there. Why, Erica says, why is it they don't know how to cross over? Well, they have an opportunity to cross over as soon as they die, but sometimes it's like a doorway that opens. And the doorway can look in different things. It can literally look like a doorway that you walk through. It can look like a portal that opens. It can look like a big beam of light that comes down from the sky. It even looked like a ship back in the day. There were reports back in the old days of how a golden come and people would climb on the golden ship and fly off. Like, the portal to source looks in many different ways depending on how people want it to look. But unfortunately, it does. If you don't use the doorway will close, and people don't realize that, it's you can intentionally open that doorway again, but if they don't know to do it, they just don't. So they wait around for somebody to open the doorway. So I have noticed actually that there are earthbounds that will attach to people knowing that they're going to get a ride home. Because it's like when you say, this person is going to get a clearing, and they're like, oh, they get a clearing, that means I can get a ride, so they'll attach to people knowing the clearing is coming too, because they know that the portal will be open for them. So there's a lot of people that, are afraid of crossing over too, because they're afraid of punishment. They see a doorway of light opening. In fact, there was one person who died in a fire. So they saw the light and thought, no, I don't want to go that way. They think that it was going to be hell or something in the doorway. So Yeah, there's so many beings that don't cross over. I would say about half of the people that die don't cross over right away because they don't know. If their loved ones open the doorway and they come in and they're like, "Oh, grandma," and they go with them, that's different. That's what a lot of people do experience. But there's also a lot more people who don't even realize they're dead. They die in overdoses. They die during a car accident. They die in an explosion. Things where they die instantly like that with no warning. A lot of people don't know they're dead then because they didn't see the event. And sometimes murder victims too because they don't want to cross over. They're pissed off until they are, until their bodies are found or until their perpetrators are caught. So a lot of spirits don't want to cross over because they have unfinished business, if you know what I mean. So yeah, there's a lot. And I'm not surprised to see there are 647 earthbounds in an old Victorian building. So, but London is full. Can you imagine if that's just one event center? How many spirits are in London that need to be crossed over? And how much the vibration of that space went up. So, really exciting stuff. Oh, and it's funny. We were leaving. We were helping Andy carry stuff out to the car, and I get a missed call, and I call the person back, and it was Ferris. And I was like, "Wow, wonderful, Ferris." I was like, "I was trying to see you before you left." So he says, "Oh, meet me out front. We'll have a quick chat." So we all walked up to meet Ferris and to say hi, and he offered to basically be my teacher again. He goes, "I was your teacher in the past. I will be your teacher again." And I said, "Really?" And he wants to teach me shamanism. And I was like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'll teach you how to, I'll teach you how to do clearings my way." So, and I'm like, "Well, your way, does that mean I get two beefy Pleiadians to follow me around?" Because he didn't know that I could see. He's like, "Oh, you know about those." And I was like, "Yeah, my mentor could see them." They were apparently like 7, 8 foot tall Pleiadians with long hair and blue eyes. And it was funny too, because I said something to Andy. And I was like, "They're looking?" And he goes, "Yeah, they're looking right at you right now." And I said, "Hi." And I smiled. And he said they both laughed and smiled when I did that. So it's like, my peoples. It's really nice to see them around. So yeah, they were the ones doing the clearing. And I asked Ferris about them. I was like, "Do you always work with Pleiadians?" And he goes, "No, I just work with a lot. I have a very large team, and they just send whoever is best for the event." So I was like, "Okay, cool. Like, wow, really interesting." And so he says he's gonna be my mentor again. I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool." And Stacy's like, "What about me?" And Elise is like, "What about me?" So we're like, all of us, let's just do it. We'll all join Ferris. So we're going to, see how that goes. Ray says Pleiadians have big muscles. It depends on the Pleiadians, Ray. Because certain Pleiadians are kind of thin and don't have muscles. But when it comes to like the space Vikings, the Engen people, who Mr. Bradley knows all about, those are the beefcake Pleiadians, apparently. They got the big muscles. So I wonder which ones they were. But they were the very tall Pleiadians with the ice blue eyes, apparently. Space Vikings. Yes, that is exactly what they are. That's what their nicknamed are. Nicknames. Because they're the Engen people. They're the ones that are from, there's different types of Nordic Pleiadians. Lots and lots of different kinds. You get the small ones, you get the tall ones, you get the thin ones, you get all kinds of different ones. Anna says, "Can I join?" Of course you can. So I'm going to invite Ferris on the podcast so you guys can get to know him a little bit and we can talk a little bit history with him. He's amazing. I cannot wait to introduce you guys to him. But I met so many wonderful people. Like I've made so many friends at the event. We were known as the Ghostbusters. Everybody knew us when we left. It's just really funny. Because nobody, like I said, we got no attention the first day. And then the last day, even when I'm not in my Ghostbusters gear, people are like, "Yeah, it's the Ghostbusters." Like they recognized us. So they told a couple people said we had the most fun and memorable stand at the event. So I'm like, I told Andy and Jono, I was like, "You do realize we're gonna have to do this from now on, right?" Because it's gonna be so much fun. People loved it. Obviously, we're not going to dress up as Ghostbusters if we go to like a psychiatry convention or something, because we want to be taken seriously then. But when it's like a family event where you need to stand out because there's so many different vendors doing different things. But yeah, we were the only ones doing clearings. The only ones. Because those people did not count. They were giving attachments. So technically, isn't it funny though that if we hadn't shown up, the only people other than Ferris and those Jesus people that have been doing clearings, like nobody else is doing clearings. Ferris is the only one in that whole place that would have been doing it. So they really do infiltrate these events. I mean, if you look at how many false soul guides were there on the practitioners and how many ETs came in, like, why so many aliens? I don't understand why so many aliens. But then I think about it, and I'm like, London. And because so many different ETs are trying to infiltrate different spiritual groups right now. So I feel like it's almost like we have a responsibility to go to these events and stop these fuckers from trying to infiltrate these events. If we saw what happened at Disclosure Fest in Vegas with Damien and a few other people who shall not be named. So yeah, we need to do a tour. We need to go to these events. Like, this is serious. Like, we need to start saving practitioners from their false soul guides and shit. Because that was crazy. I was not expecting to see those statistics. That is wild. So just think of how many people whose lives we touched just being there and clearing that whole space. So in the last hour alone. Not to mention all the people that came by our stand. Like, there was this one gentleman that came by. Really, really sweet guy. He wasn't able to turn his neck. Couldn't do this. And he's like, I haven't been able to turn my neck in years. And Andy's like, oh, well, you have a yoke on you. He's like, what do you mean? Like one of those ox yokes where, you know what I mean? Like the wooden thing that comes up and they're not allowed to turn their heads. He had one on him. So Andy removed it and he's like, come back in 15 minutes. Let me know how you feel. And sure enough, he comes back in 15 minutes. He's like, look. I can turn it on. So it's like just so many people. Just, oh man. That's really funny. Stacey said the chiropractors too. We had a bunch of chiropractors that were across the way, like kitty corner to our stand. And because we were having so much fun, like all the other people around us came up and they were talking with us. And we just had fun chatting with them. And there was this one practitioner, one chiropractor who could feel that he had something on his back. And we're like, and Andy's like, oh, you have a level 1 on you. And one of those little gargoyle bastards was on him. And he's like, of course, like a chiropractor, I'm not surprised. And he's like, I could smell it. We're like, what? He could smell it. He goes, yeah, there was like this trash smell or something that was like kind of following me around and it was driving me crazy. And now it's gone now that you've removed it. So he could actually sense it and smell it. And I'm like, oh, that's Claire Gustins, my man. You're a sniffer medium. So funny. So we also had a really lovely guy named Seamus that was sitting next to us. Seamus runs an event. What was it? Like a health camp, I guess, in Ireland. Seamus was fun to chat with. We had just a wonderful time chatting with all the people around us. My friend Claire, ironically, one of you guys, one of my followers, she was working at the crystal shop, like literally kitty corner to us as well. So it was just very serendipitous. We met all kinds of really, really wonderful people. So we're going to be doing more of these events. We're already scouting the next one. We're going to do a couple in the US. I'm not sure who's going to do them. I think, that maybe anybody who really wants to come to these events is more than welcome to. But we definitely need at least one medium to keep clearing us while we're at these events. So I think we'll have to put Andy on tour or something. But like I said, can you imagine how much these events need clearings? Like seeing how many imposter soul guides and ETs were attached to people makes me want to go to all of them and just clear them all. Like, no more shady shit. So Brandy says I can smell sickness on people. Well, there you go, Brandy. You probably got Claire Gustins as well. A lot of people think about I actually smell too. I can hear and more than I can Actually, hold on. I can, yeah, I can't see very often. I could see shadows and stuff recently. I did pick up a whole bunch of different things while I was there. So my ability to see these things is definitely picking up. But my ability to sense them, just feel their presence, is definitely like just walking past those Jesus people, you guys. I got such bad creeps. Like chills all over my body, but not good ones. Like you can feel the difference. Like, yeah, definitely knew there was something not right there. And sure enough, there were mouthless aliens glaring at people as they go by, giving people attachments. Unbelievable. So it's sad that, you have an event like this. There are people are coming for healing. They're coming to learn things. They're coming to have a spiritual experience. And the ETs are like, watch this, they're going home with some beasties. So not on our watch, not if the Ghostbusters have anything to do with it. We're more ET busters than anything else. Although, like I said, 647 Earthbounds. I think we earned the title of Ghostbusters for sure. Even though, we don't lock them up, we send them where they're supposed to go. So it's better. I'm curious as to what connects the Jesus people to aliens, the prayers, or what. Well, no, they literally had false soul guides that were those attachments. And they were giving people more of those attachments. And you know what makes me sad is I think that the reason they chose Jesus is for the vulnerability. It's just because it works. Because many of them are people are just looking for healing. There was like a swarm of them. I'm not even kidding. There were like 12 people at least, all dressed up in white underneath that huge spot. And they would bring people in and be like, oh, come on, come talk to us. Come talk to us about Jesus. And the next thing you know, you got an attachment. So, they're just luring people in that were Christians, really. That was their bread and butter, I guess. And they multiplied by the day. Like they would be like 4, then there'd be 8, then there'd be 12. The last day there was just a horde of them. We're like, where are all these people coming from? It was crazy. So yeah, if only people could see the creepy mouthless aliens that were standing next to them. But, I really did love the fact that we were blasting people with sage bubbles too. Like you could smell the sage around our whole stand. I wonder if we're going to get hit with a cleaning bill too, because by the end of the day, we're starting to squish the carpets a little because of how much soap we had everywhere. It was Andy's fault though, for real. Andy got us like 4 of these gallons of these things of bubble stuff. We're like, Andy, this is enough bubbles to fill the entire Olympia. Like, why so much bubbles? So we have all the bubbles we're going to need for the next 6 years or so. But it really does work. Like, it's amazing. Krish wants to know what beads I'm wearing. These are black labradorite. Labradorite. I can't speak today. You see? You see how you got the symbol there? It's all black and white there. Yeah, that's black labradorite. It's also known as larvicite. You can see it doesn't really have the blue tint to it or the orange, but it's very powerful for protection. I really need to charge it though. I'm going to be putting all of my good stuff is going in here today. I forgot to do that last night. I need to cleanse and charge all my bling. So yeah, it was quite an event. And like I said, I can't wait to introduce you guys to Ferris. Andy is going to come on tomorrow. So we get to talk with Chen about what he cleared. We get to see Chen's perspective as to what happened at the event and what it was like to clear the Olympia. So that'll be fun. We need to have a nice little chat with Andy and Chen tomorrow and have a little catch up. And I'm really curious. Like, I would love to be able to see what it was like when they cleared the Olympia. Like, when I die someday, I'm going to be like, I'm rewatching that episode, you guys. I want to see what happened because holy shit, it must have been quite an event for the soul guides to go through and have to clear that many ETs from such a large space. So this was definitely the biggest one yet. It's going to be amazing to hear what the soul guides experienced when they were doing this. So that's going to be a fun chat for tomorrow for sure. Oh, you guys are talking about chiropractors. That's so funny. Everybody is different. You get, no matter what kind of business you have, you're going to have people of all different types in it. So the chiropractors, though, they were really lovely. Like, we had a wonderful chats with them. They were all high vibing the whole time. really lovely people. This is the thing about these events. You get to know so many really cool people that were all around you. And most of the people get the same spots the same time, year after year because they get to know all the people around them. So they kept asking us, like, you're going to be here next year, right? You're going to pick the same spot, right? So yeah, we are. We're probably going to pick the same spot next year just because of all the wonderful people we had around us. So any questions while I'm just sitting here rambling on? Just going to scroll back up. Hi, Erin. I miss you, by the way. Erin gave me a really beautiful tarot deck, and Erin, I've been carrying those cards with me everywhere I go, by the way. I absolutely love them. I've been doing so many readings for people. They really love the deck. Erin got me a Last Unicorn deck. I shouldn't say got me. She had it for years, but she gave it to me, and it's probably one of the sweetest gifts I've ever been given, considering it was my favorite movie as a kid. I was obsessed with The Last Unicorn between the ages of like 5 and 15. So yeah, it's the most beautiful deck. If I wasn't in my suitcase right now, I'll show you. Maybe I'll show you over the weekend or something. It's the most beautiful deck, and it's trimmed in gold. Oh my God. I feel so blessed. Just thank you, Erin. Really love it. That's the nicest deck I think I have. So yeah, I'll have to pull some cards with you. We'll get Minty back on and we'll pull some cards next week. Yeah, because I miss Minty. Let's get Minty back on to do some readings for us. David says, I drank too much tequila over the weekend. I think I may have opened a portal. Remember how to close portals, David. Siddhartha taught us how, remember? Oh, Bradley. I was talking about you earlier, Bradley. Nice to see you, bud. I miss you. So yeah, remember closing portals. Siddhartha told us how. You do the pentagram, and then counterclockwise circle, and then slam it down. Remember? So David, use your intentions. If you opened it, you can close it. So don't forget, okay? You just set your intention. You say, I am going to close any portals that I may have opened inadvertently. And then you just counterclockwise, slam it down. And just set your intention to close it, and it will, okay? You can do it in front of your electronics and stuff, but I recommend also getting some shungite and things because that's where most of our portals open, is where you have a lot of clutter and electronics and stuff like that. I was wondering if you could share a list of all the things you cleared at the Olympia. It would be good to share and raise awareness. I will do that, Louisa. I'll share a post on the main page and in the Spirit Release Academy group, so that way you guys can see the list. I did. So yeah, I can do that. And you guys can share it for me. That'd be great because we need to get more people at these events. That would be amazing. So we also have a new class that's going to be starting soon. Working on the dates and stuff with Andy, but we are planning a stateside SRT class. Hopefully towards the end of the summer, I believe that's going to happen. But the online training is also going to begin soon. And we just had a group of graduates so I have more mediums to work with now that I get to meet on Wednesday, and I'm really super stoked about it. So I do have a lot of work catching up, you guys. I'm about 6 weeks behind in clearings right now. I was 4 weeks, but I haven't done clearings in 2 weeks because of all the chaos. So I have a lot of catching up to do. Katie and Ruth are going to help me with that. And ironically, you guys haven't been booking too many clearings over the last few weeks. You guys seem to be doing okay. So I actually haven't been too inundated. I should be able to catch up quite quickly, especially with the new mediums that are coming in. It's going to be really exciting. And we met a lot of mediums at the event. This is one of the reasons why we had the stand, and we had a sign that said recruiting mediums, because there's a lot of people that are looking for something like this, that are looking for groups, because the mediums often work alone. And they're sick of working alone. They need backup, and they realize they need backup. So one of the most, wonderful things about the Academy is the way we look out for each other, and how if one of us does end up picking something up because we were stressing about something or something bad happened, we can just, clear it like nothing. So it's strength in numbers is really a thing. And there's so many mediums that came by the stand that were like, wow, you guys do clearings, this and that. I do clearings too, but I'm always so tired. And we're like, well, you might need a clearing yourself here. And then there's a couple people that kept coming by and saying how much better they felt after they stopped and visited us, because some people came to us first, right? They'd get a clearing and then they'd start walking around and they'd come back a little bit later and they're like, wow, I feel completely different. So the clearings, you notice a difference almost immediately when it happens, especially if you're like the guy that, had the yoke on him and couldn't even turn his head, the poor guy. So yeah, there's a lot of mediums that are out there that need this sense of community and family. And I'm just so glad we can provide that. So yeah, there was a lot of people who were interested in signing up for the class that came by the stand, and people that I'm really excited to work with. And I really hope they do sign up for the training because they look like very wonderful mediums. I just love working. This is the best job I've ever done. I'm serious. I will never ever get bored. Andy asked me, he's like, when do you guys plan on like retiring or anything? And I was like, never. Like if I die, then I'll just do it as a soul guide on the other side. Like I'm gonna continue doing this work until it's done. So until this planet is cleared of all the shit, I'm here, you guys. I'm fucking invested. So I'm sure many of you also kind of feel the same way, We're not going to back up until the job is done. Louisa says, I had an aura photo done. It was awesome. I wish I had done one before my clearing. Yes, your aura photo was really beautiful, by the way. Louisa's got all the high vibes. Stacey, you've only just begun. Oh, yeah. This is going to be a huge thing, you guys. These events, I can tell, are going to be massive, especially when we start clearing all these massive events where people are coming to. Thousands of people are coming for healing and spiritual development, and the ETs are like, no, not on our watch. So any other questions, you guys? Anything else you guys want to discuss? Ray says, one of my cats has been missing for 5 days. Can you tell me if he's still alive? I think you would need an animal communicator for that. I would contact. Oh, look, see, Ariana's already on it. Kim Alexander does that. Yes. I've had my friend Kim on here a few times. She's an animal communicator, and I believe she does look for lost animals. Although, it's possible that one of the mediums could find her. You never know. We could find out for sure. Oh, Kim doesn't do lost animals. Oh, okay, Michelle. Thank you for clearing that up. I didn't know that. Well, we did locate somebody who is deceased. He was lost. So anything is possible. You just never know. Maybe Katie. I would sign up with Katie and find out. See if Katie could locate her. Do you have any info I can move towards regarding the Elohim? Well, the Elohim is a complicated word. It's kind of like the word Anunnaki because there's so many different beings that take the same name, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of different places also that have the same name too. So it does cause quite a bit of confusion, unfortunately. So you get the Elohim that are the human kind. You get the kinds that are reptilian. You get the kind that are angelic. You get a whole bunch of them because there are winged reptilians out there that are known as the Elohim as well. So yeah, it's kind of complicated. I would definitely watch some of the videos on Cosmic Agency about it. The Pleiadians go into in-depth about it. In fact, if you go on Svadu, hold on. If you go on Svadu official, svadu.org, and then type in Elohim in the search, you'll find all the videos. There you go. You can find all the videos where they're talking about it. Brandy says, can you speak more about the Anunnaki? Anunnaki are basically it's the old word for extraterrestrial. It means, you come from the stars. It means you're not from here terrestrially. So Anunnaki is also one of those words that basically just covers everybody. Reptilians go into that category. Arcturians, Andromedans, Syrians, Pleiadians, pretty much all kinds of different ancient races count as the Anunnaki, considering that's basically just the old word for ET. That's a great idea, Michelle. Ray, put your dirty clothes hamper outside that can smell a long ways away. Michelle is such a genius. You got such great ideas, Michelle. Love that. What a good idea. Pink salt. Well, Himalayan salt is just as good as sea salt, I believe, when it comes to clearings, but I'm not entirely sure. There's more nutrients in it. It does work for blocking negative energy, but if you know what's funny, if you really want to go all powerful with your salt stuff, black salt is the one you want for protection and for cleansing. Yep. Black salt. It's mixed like Hawaiian salt. It's mixed with burnt coconut husks and other things to turn it black. But that is one of the best things for blocking negative energy. So if you're gonna put sea salt around the house, or if you're gonna wash down with salt, it's obviously more expensive. So I use sea salt for in the shower and in the bath and stuff. But if you're going to put it around your house to try and absorb negative energy and clear the space, then black salt is the best one to put around the house. Yes, Billy Carson speaks on the Anunnaki a lot. Yes, Billy talks about them a lot. But where he gets his information, does anybody know? Like, where does Billy get all his info? Does he channel? Is he in contact with somebody up there? I don't know. Where does I've never even actually asked that question before. Where Billy Carson gets his info from? Yeah, he does his research, but with who? With what? I mean, we can do research on Google. It doesn't mean we're going to find the right info. That's why I'm like skeptical as to where people get their info. I usually just trust info from soul guides and ETs that I already know and trust, like the Pleiadians with Tay Gettins. That's where books and channeling. Okay, interesting. Because the problem is a lot of them are, for example, like Eric von Daniken, they use the Sumerian tablets to get their info, and then they study the Sumerian tablets, not realizing that the Sumerian tablets were the original Bible, and it was created to be fucking bullshit. And a lot of it was all twisted and manipulated in order to change the narrative, because they knew that it was going to last and that people would be using that knowledge to kind of explain history, so they got in the way. And a lot of the things that they put in those tablets is actually like more state sponsored propaganda, if you know what I mean. I do remember him saying he had an alien visit. Yes, I do remember that. Yep. It was a gray, wasn't it? Or something like that. I can't remember. I think it was a gray. So I really do like Billy Carson. I'm just very careful about where I get my info, considering all the disinfo out there. But this is why I said, the Akashic Records is the best thing that you could really study, because you can get all your information from the Akashic Records, the imprints of everything. So if he's studying the Akashic Records, then that could be where he's getting his info. Lots of people get their info from the Akashic Records. Bradley says, have you talked about dragons yet? Candy showed me Thor's dragons. It's funny. We've been hearing a lot about dragons recently, and I feel like there's a lot of them that have been coming back. You may not be able to see them because they're in the astral, but there's a lot of talk about dragons recently, and many of them are actually being called in to cleanse the space. In fact, I laugh because, oh man, so one of my clients booked a clearing for her ex-husband because the kids were going over there quite a bit, and so she wanted to make sure that the energy was cleansed and that the kids were not going into a house with beasties in it. So he did. The house was so full of shit that they actually had to call in a dragon to burn out all of the bad energy in the house. Like they said, we're just gonna come in and just dragon fire the whole place. We're like, really? They're like, yeah, it needs it. So who knows, like what they must have seen in that house to be like, okay, bring in the dragons. And I'm well aware how I sound talking about that, but I don't even care. I fully believe in dragons, 100%. Especially after watching Candy and Aaron go at it the other day in their dragon duel. We're hearing all like the movement on the roof. We're like, like, oh my god. So, yep, definitely a believer in dragons without a doubt. Laura, have you heard about the thing of white vinegar removing chemtrails? Is that true? It's probably true. I wouldn't doubt it. I have seen the videos going back. I mean, God, those videos. If you guys remember that, That was a popular thing like 10 years ago. Remember when people were taking like big like sheets and then hanging them on their clothesline and dipping them in vinegar and then just wafting it up to the I think that honestly, it's underkill, if you know what I mean. I don't think it's gonna work. If you're dealing with stuff that's 20,000 feet up and you've got your little sheet blowing in the wind, it might clear the area around you a little, but whether or not it's up there clearing chemtrails, I very, very much doubt it. Just reading up on the comments. Tracy says, please dragon fire my neighbors. That's funny, Tracy. uh Kaminari says, apparently some people have seen dragons, but no like super reliable videos yet. Well, this is the thing. We're still like we're dealing with the shift, right? And you get pockets of areas where you get 5D because it moves. Like the frequencies change, right? And like when the frequency is really low, you're not going to pick up stuff as often. But when the frequency in the space goes up higher, or for some reason changes, then you do see the astral. You start noticing the 4D and 5D. I'm pretty sure this is what happened in Miami, if you guys remember, a couple months ago, where a bunch of ETs opened a portal and walked through it, and then everybody started screaming and running away. I don't think that they thought they would be seen. I think that they just popped up in a 5D bubble for a minute, and people were around them were able to see them. And then, yeah, this is going to be a common thing, though. This is why they're talking about the shift and why it's so important, is because we'll be able to see the astral. And when we can see the astral, we'll be able to see all the beings that exist there, including the dragons. So there's a reason that people have been talking about dragons in pretty much every single ancient culture on Earth. They're real, 100%, without a doubt. And there's good ones and bad ones, but most of the ones that are here are good now because they've chased off all the baddies. So we really just, when it comes to reptilians and stuff, it's just the Draco, the Alpha Draco, the big nasty ones don't really even come here very often. Although, you know what's funny? They do say, the Pleiadians say that they have ships that are shaped like, what was it? I want to say avocados, but they're not. The other ones. Oh my God, what are they? Artichokes. That's the one. They have ships that are shaped like an artichoke. Apparently, that is what the dragons come here in. I'm well aware how I sound saying that, but I don't even care anymore. At this point, I'm like, whatever. You all can think I'm crazy all you want. I don't care. Yes, Catherine. Organite to clear chemtrails. Yes. Organite really does work, especially those big cloud busters. The ones with the copper with the focusing crystals. Google Cloudbuster and you'll see what I mean. Cloudbuster Organite, and you'll see they're big ones. In fact, they're Organite they make in trash cans. That will work to clear chemtrails. I've seen it work. Well, I think I've told you guys the story before about how my friend had like a $10,000 Organite made, and it was literally made in like a 20-gallon trash can or something. And it had like these massive copper tubes that came up with focusing crystals, amethyst focusing crystals that fit in the copper tubes like this. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. It was very serious Organite. And then sure enough, my friend pulled it outside, pulled the stuff off of it. They had like this thing that they kept around it to protect it. And when they pulled it off, and then we went grocery shopping, there was a perfect circle above their house as we drove back a couple hours later. So that did work. 100%. You could see, like, it was really funny because they lived in France and they spray the shit out of France. And so the clouds were everywhere. Like the whole sky was all like that funky chemtrail haziness, if you know what I mean. But then above their house, perfect circle of clear blue sky. So they were like, watch, Laura, you'll see. And sure enough, it really did work. So yeah, if you're serious about getting rid of chemtrails, cloudbusters, man, those are what you want. Brandy says, I may have a dragon guide. I see it in the clouds also. 100%. Many of us do have dragon guides, especially those of us who are here to kind of clean out the shit in the astral. We need that right now. We need all the backup we can get. And I believe that's one of the reasons why they're here, is they're trying to clean out the astral and remove all this stuff. Makes me happy seeing Chen. I love you, Chen. This is my favorite mug now, I think. I just want to hug Chen. I really do. After everything he's done for us, I'm so grateful. And I'm really excited about all the wonderful things that are going to happen. Lots of good things that are coming. And we'll get to chat with Chen tomorrow about all of this stuff. And for those of you who wants to come to the next event, we were handing these out for free, by the way. I made a bunch of Organite to hand out for free, and then we had a whole bunch of Chen mugs. So people that came to visit us at the event in London got a free Chen mug and Organite. And yeah, so make sure that you guys don't miss it next time, because we'll have more Chen mugs and Organite for the next event. Steph says he's making a huge Cloudbuster soon. You're gonna have to send us pictures, Steph. I want to see. I want to make one too, actually, come to think of it. That would be great. That would be really wonderful. You know what else is really cool too is that there's other ways to protect your space. I didn't know about roses and things. Like we did have a little bit of a pickle at the event at the retreat in Colorado, because there was a beacon that got placed in the house before we even got there. The entities that had put like an actual beacon in the house to attract entities, and we didn't know like until I think it was the second day, and things started getting weird, and we're like, what is going on? And then sure enough, I check, and yeah, there was a beacon in the house that was attracting things. So one of the things that we're going to start doing actually is offering people clearings before retreats, because a lot of you guys have retreats that you're planning over the summer and these events. So if you want, make sure that you hit me up before your events and things, so that way we can actually clear your retreat space before your people come. That is something we're going to do from now on. We've learned so much about them trying to infiltrate. So we actually had to go to counteract it. They deactivated it, but then we had to go out and buy. Magdalena told us to go and buy big bags of sea salt and roses, and to put it around the house to raise the vibration and to create like a wall of energy that they couldn't come around. So isn't that cool? I'm actually going to go out and I'm going to go plant some roses around my house to do like a grid. Isn't that cool? Like I didn't think about that. Like we can do a grid around our houses of Organite, because there's all kinds of these like little Organite. Where are they? I made a whole bunch of them in muffin molds, right? And I took muffin tins, silicone ones, and I made Organite in those. So they make these like little Organite buster things. So if you put them in a grid around your house, you can grow roses around your house. You can put sea salt around. You don't want to put too much sea salt, considering you don't want it to mess with your with your plants and things. So just putting roses and other high vibe stuff. I didn't realize that lilacs are also, I found really funny, by the way. Lilacs are my favorite flower, and yet they're used for warding off negative energy and entities. When I saw that, the metaphysical properties of flowers, and I was researching, yeah, so flowers have very high vibration and they're very protective. So one of the best things you can do to raise the vibration of your space is to bring plants into your house, to have flowers in your house. I've been growing my own flowers just so I can have bouquets in my house. So yeah, bring all the roses into the house to raise the vibration of the space. So this is another thing. It's important to grow food, but make sure that you're growing flowers as well, and they will help to protect your home, which is really cool. So thanks for that tip, Magdalena. Very cool. And wind chimes, yes, Ray, genius. You see that right there? That's a wind chime that I have in my thingy right here. Doop, doop. That's a wind chime. So whenever I feel like something might be in the area and it's bugging me, I go and whack the wind chime, and it does. You can feel the vibration of space immediately go up. So entities don't like those, actually, the chimes and things. So the more wind chimes and things you put around your house, the more protected your house is also. My home looks like a mini pothos jungle. Mine does too. I have pothoses everywhere. They're my favorite. I have them growing up my staircase. It looks really cool. I love pothos. You got to put more plants around the house, you guys. Seriously, that should be your homework for today. Go get a plant. Like an aloe plant. Aloe is also really good for raising the vibration in space. Snake plants are really good too, because they're good for cleansing the oxygen too and raising the vibe. Bells on doors. That's a good one, Cher. Nice idea. All kinds of different ways of raising the vibration of your home. Michelle likes African violets. Lovely. I have one on my counter in my kitchen as well. I love African violets too. Monsteras are nice. It's 11/11, by the way. Awesome. Nice one. Yeah, monsteras are great. You could eat those too, the delicious monsters. I had one in South Africa. I would constantly go outside and and then make a salad. There's all kinds of really cool plants that you can have that, will change the vibration of your space. Playing music, doing singing bowls, all of those things. Yes. So yeah, you guys get to do some fun high vibe decorating now. That's gonna be my plan. I'm not going anywhere for weeks. I am so tired of traveling. I literally got home at midnight. I fell asleep at 12:15, and then I woke up 30 minutes before talking to you guys. So that's why my voice still hasn't even come back yet. Like, I've barely been home. I've like put my luggage in the house, and that was about it. That's all the time I've had since I got back. So yeah, I'm gonna be going outside a lot. I'm gonna be growing some sage, all kinds of goodies. I need to give my garden some love. How's Aiden? I don't know. He's at school already. I didn't even get to see my little bugger yet. I did bring him a bubble gun though, and he's gonna love it. I got the one that Andy had the most fun with, where he was like raining bubbles on people. I stole one from Andy, and I brought it back for Aiden. He's gonna love it. Anya says, "Watch out! Buying plants is addictive." I know. Everybody's like, "Do you have any pets?" No, I have plants. I have plants and an 8-year-old. Those are my pets. Sweetgrass is really good, Krista. You should. Sweetgrass is one of the best smudges you can get. In fact, I have a sweetgrass somewhere. Where is it? I don't even want to burn it. I have a sweetgrass that somebody gave me as a present, and I love it so much. I haven't used it as a smudge yet because it's so pretty. I don't want to burn it. So yeah, I need to grow some of that myself. So yeah, I didn't realize it's already been an hour. I love you guys. I'm gonna go and do some clearings. I'm gonna go chase Katie down so we can chase some beasties. So I love you guys. I've really missed you. It's so wonderful to catch up with you all. And it's going to be exciting to hear from Chen tomorrow. I really am. I'm so stoked that we get to have a chat with Chen. And next week, next Thursday, we have an uncensored chat with Chen. And those are my favorite, as you guys know. I'm so excited about it. It's going to be on Astara next week. So that'll be a lot of fun. We'll get to ask Chen all about what he cleared. I want to know more about those faceless aliens that were attached to the Jesus people. I want to know. I've got all kinds of stuff that I plan to ask him. So make sure that you guys don't miss it, okay? I love you all. It's so wonderful to see you guys. I really have missed you. I really, really, really have. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will see you tomorrow morning, same time. We will see you guys at the normal. Oh, that's Andy messaging me now. Wonderful. See? Perfect timing. So I'll see you same time tomorrow, guys. Love you all. Have a wonderful day. Bye.